everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television with me, Babla Jonathan, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. In our top stories, the Anglophone crisis continues deepening further while government hurries to bring solutions to the socio-political and security crisis rocking the northwest and the southwest regions of the country. An American missionary is killed in the northwest region of the country. The man of God was caught in a crossfire between separatist fighters and security and defense forces. And the Evangelical Church of Cameroun, EEC, says it is highly affected by the crisis. Its congregations in the two Anglophone regions of the country have been shut down. And speaking to the press today here in the economic capital, Douala, the president of the Evangelical Church of Cameroun, Professor Jean Samuel Henje Toya, revealed that the church stands behind the Constitutional Council as far as the results of the 2018 presidential election and the victory of President Paul Biya are concerned. Details coming up next.
Charles Truman Wesco, who had been in the region for only 12 days with his wife and 8 children, succumbed to bullet wounds at the Bamenda Regional Hospital, according to official information. Sources say the Indiana State-born missionary of the Cameroon Bible Fellowship was caught in a crossfire between the army and separatist fighters in Bambui, Tuba subdivision of the Mezam division, on his way to the city of Bamenda. An official statement from the Cameroonian Ministry of Defense said 4 terrorists have been neutralized for masterminding the killing of the American missionary. The death of Charles Wesco has provoked numerous reactions from administrative officials, family members and friends both in the United States of America and in Cameroon. The U.S. State Department confirmed his death on Tuesday and said it was offering appropriate consular assistance to the family. Indiana State Governor Rick Holcomb said he was thinking about Wesco and family. Stephanie Wesco, wife of Charles Wesco, wished she could wake up from the horrible nightmare. His brother, an elected official of the Indiana State Representatives, Tim Wesco, qualifies Charles Wesco as someone who loved the Lord and loved people. Just like Tim Wesco,
yes, a bitter pill, just too difficult to swallow. The president of the Evangelical Church of Cameroon was speaking to the press here in the economic capital, Douala, today, and he reacted on the death of the American missionary and, of course, the killing of other men and women of God in that part of the country, the northwest and, of course, the southwest regions of the country. We have details in this extract. The Evangelical Church of Cameroon, EEC, endorses President Paul Biya.
This killing of an American pastor, by the way, there are many Cameroonian pastors who passed away already in this crisis. Many of them are coming here and in contact with the president of the Presbyterian Church, which is also the president of the SEPCA. We are discussing all the time. Okay, let's say that we are speaking about the killing of the American pastor just because he's an American. But many pastors, many Cameroonian pastors and their families have been killed in this crisis. So it's really a sad news for us to see that men of God, women of God, because we have also female pastors in that church, men of God, women of God are killed just like that in this situation. But pastors are not superhuman beings. They are human beings like any other human beings. We are really sad that human beings are killed in this situation like just beasts or fowls or whatever. We are directly affected by this situation at 2 levels. The first level is that we have congregations in that part of the country, and all these congregations are closed down. There are no services which are done, there's no worshiping which is done, or whatever, and so on, etc. That's the first level. The second level, which is an historical level, and the more important level, is that in this Anglophone part of our country, we have let's say, the leading Protestant church which is located there, which is the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon. Presbyterian Church in Cameroon and Église Évangélique du Cameroun are the same church. They are twin sisters because we belong to the same and only mission, which is the Basel mission. That Basel mission is called today Mission 21, which is based in Basel, in Switzerland, and so on, etc. Therefore, this church cannot suffer. And on the broader level, people from Anglophone Cameroon cannot suffer. And we in the Église Évangélique du Cameroun, we stand and say, oh, we are not affected by the situation. We are deeply concerned by the situation.
Speaking to the press today in the economic capital of the Republic of Cameroon, at Douala, the president of the Evangelical Church of Cameroon, Reverend Professor Jean-Samuel Henge Toyo, equally revealed the stand of the Evangelical Church of Cameroon as far as the October 7, 2018 presidential election is concerned. The church is backing the result of the presidential election reviewed by or proclaimed by the Constitutional Council. The church simply indicates that it is a law-abiding institution and so respects the victory of President Paul Biya as well as the entire result of the presidential election. Details in this report. The Evangelical Church of Cameroon, EEC, endorses President Paul Biya's re-election and the entire official results of the October 7 presidential election. Reverend Professor Jean-Samuel Henge Toya, president of the EEC, told the press that, like Cameroon, the church is a law-abiding institution and so respects republican institutions like the Constitutional Council, which published results of the presidential election despite some mistakes made in the electoral process.
Things went on smoothly, although there are some mistakes which have been done here and there, and so on, etc. The Église Évangélique du Cameroun is complying herself to the result of the Constitutional Council. So we are inviting of all Christians of Église Évangélique du Cameroun, but also all to comply with the result of the Constitutional Council.
The EEC president is urging the different election stakeholders to seek solutions to the post-election disputes polluting the country's political and social atmosphere.
We have to fight for peace. Peace and only peace. We have to seek ways of bringing together those who are contesting this election to sit together and see how to move out of this situation and then build not only peace but also build justice for this country, because if there's no peace, if there's no justice, nothing which is reliable can be done within our country.
Reverend Professor Jean-Samuel Henge Toya exalts all Christians of the Evangelical Church of Cameroon, other denominations, and Cameroonians in general to continue praying for peace to reign in a bid to ensure the growth and well-being of Cameroon and her people. What happened to 23-year-old young Cameroonian Che Solange who died in Kuwait? This question is yet to be answered with certainty. Her corpse arrived Douala yesterday, and it was discovered that she was operated from the throat right down to the anus, and some parts of her body, some organs missing. Details in this report by Franklin Mwabe.
In this plywood lies the body of Nche Solange Amelia, the 23-year-old Cameroonian lady who died in Kuwait. Nche Solange Amelia went to Kuwait for greener pastures on the 20th of September and died on the 30th of September of bleeding in the chest, according to a report from the Al Sabah hospital in Kuwait. Though the family is thankful for the arrival of her remains, they deny rumors of government sponsoring the return of her corpse.
Solange is my daughter. So first of all, I want to thank God as I've seen the corpse, because I was still wondering whether I would see the corpse or not. But hearing rumors up and down that is the government that is funding the corpse to bring the corpse here, It's me and my in-law. So I want to thank the Cameroonians that are in Kuwait, that they have helped us to transport the corpse. As you can see, this is a made plywood that is lying on.
The father-in-law of the deceased says the arrival of the corpse to Cameroon was a joint effort from the family and that it is embarrassing to hear that it was government-sponsored.
The embarrassing situation we are hearing is that they say the government is responsible for bringing her here and for transportation. It is very, very shameful. Very, very shameful, like a government like us, or to journalists, those who are in charge of information, to be given out wrong information. That the Cameroon government were in charge to bring a corpse inside plywood. Can it be possible? So from the beginning, we have been putting our heads together, put in the small means we have, put in the small ideas we have, to this level.
Another rumor circulating on different social media platforms is that Solange Amelia died of hard work in Kuwait, which is a deter to the original story.
We want to assure the people that she did not die out of hard work, like they said, out of slavery. No, that is not good. And she's not among the slaves. She just went there and died 10 days after. We cannot just confirm, maybe she was sick, maybe she was not sick, we are not God, but she did not die because of hard work, because it's actually thanks to her sponsor that this corpse is actually here, because the man has helped a lot.
The remains of Solange Amelia has been placed at the Bonasama District Hospital in Douala, where an autopsy will be carried out on her body to determine the real cause of her death. The mass exodus of the youthful population to foreign lands for better job opportunities have been blamed on the poor economic situation of the country. For the past 1 month, loud and distressed cries of Cameroonians suffering in Kuwait have been echoed. With the safe return of 9, others are still in slavery, waiting for a deliverer.
My plan was so urgent, I could not tell you.
Health officials in the north region of the Republic of Cameroon are intensifying sensitization campaigns to curb the spread of cholera in that part of the country. Thousands of inhabitants of the region have been drilled on preventive measures, as we hear in this report by Innocent Aze.
467 cases of cholera infection, amongst them 33 deaths have been registered in the North region, according to its regional delegate for public health. Alarming statistics which have instigated health personnel in the region to embark on a sensitization campaign. They schooled the population, especially youth, on various preventive methods like washing of hands with soap and clean water before and after eating. This population, especially students or youths, must adopt responsible behaviors to constantly wash hands after visiting the toilet, before and after eating. They must eat just well-cooked food and drink potable or well-treated water. According to the health experts, the adoption of matured behaviors will not only help the sensitization campaign echo loudest, but will greatly eradicate this cholera and make Garoua a zero cholera zone.
Artists in Cameroon and the nation at large are mourning the death of one of the country's renowned Makossa singers known as Joe Masso. The Makossa singer gave up the ghost on Tuesday on the heels of a protracted illness, and his residence in Bonambape here in Douala was filled with sympathizers. Today's Manjikan Gebre reports.
It was a sad atmosphere that we met at the Bonambape residence of Masso Mpesa Geoffroy Williams, aka Joe Masso. The news of the passing away of the Makossa icon late Tuesday, October 30th, 2018, after a brief illness, still remains like a dream to one of his daughters who lacked words to describe the loss.
Ouais, papa, je sais pas, les mots me manquent. Les mots me manquent, papa. Je me rappelle mon père, on s'est tamponné ensemble, papa. Les commentaires étaient trop contents.
While others are weeping, regretting the demise of the icon, other sympathizers in the residence used his music to console themselves for the loss. A childhood friend of Joe Masso tells us they had so many things in common.
On avait beaucoup de confidence.
We had a lot, aka Joe Masso is
out of Cameroon. Nigerian police have arrested over 400 members of a Shia Muslim sect following days of deadly protests in the capital Abuja. The pro-Iran Islamic movement of Nigeria protesters demanded the release of their leader Ibrahim Zazaki in custody for 34 months. The army admits that 3 people were killed in clashes in Abuja yesterday, but the protesters say dozens died during the clashes, and in 2016 a judicial inquiry found that the army had killed more than 300 Shia Muslims during clashes in the north, and it accused the army of using excessive force when trying to head off an alleged attempt to kill Army Chief Gentoke Buratai in Zaria, Kaduna State in December 2015. Now, for greater details, here's an extract of Police Commissioner Bala Siruma.
At 2018 at about 12:30 hours, operatives on stop and search duty along Tipa Garage Katampe intercepted and arrested one Mustafa Abdullahi, 20 years of Ungwangwari Suleja, with 18 bottles of petrol bombs carefully concealed in a traveling bag. His intention was to smuggle himself and the petrol bombs into the city. He disguised as a passenger and boarded a taxi with other unsuspecting passengers. While assuring residents of the FCT of adequate security, I want to also bring to your knowledge that a total of about 400 members of the El-Zaki Islamic sect of Nigeria who participated in the violent protests of today are currently being detained for discreet investigations. Dangerous weapons were also recovered from them. These are marked as exhibits. Also arrested among the suspects is their first aider, one Salauddin Ahmad, 23 of Ilela, LGA, Sokoto State. The suspects will be arraigned in court as soon as investigation is concluded.
Nigerian Police Commissioner Siruma Bala speaking there, and that's it for this edition of the Primetime News on Equinoxe Television. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. Goodbye.